Elvis and Dorothy, the concert that changed everything. June 14, 1975. Elvis Presley stood on stage at the Capitol Center in Maryland, performing for 18,000 screaming fans. But when he asked one elderly woman a simple question, her answer stopped the entire concert cold. What happened next would become one of the most powerful moments in music history, and it all started with tears rolling down an 80-year-old grandmother's face. Dorothy Hayes sat in the front row that night, her weathered hands folded in her lap, crying as Elvis sang. Her daughter Linda had spent $500 on those tickets, a fortune back then. But Linda knew something the crowd didn't. This wasn't just another concert. Dorothy had been diagnosed with terminal cancer 6 months earlier. Doctors gave her less than a year. This was her dying wish, to see Elvis Presley live just once before she left this world. Elvis was mid-song when he noticed her. Among thousands of screaming fans, this elderly woman sat perfectly still, tears streaming down her cheeks, clutching her daughter's hand like her life depended on it. Something about the intensity in her eyes made him stop. The band sensed it and let the music fade. Elvis walked to the edge of the stage and pointed directly at Dorothy. "Ma'am, I can see you crying down there. Are you okay?" The arena went dead silent. 18,000 people turned to look at this one woman. Dorothy looked up, meeting Elvis's eyes for the first time, but she couldn't speak. She was too overwhelmed. Elvis knelt down at the stage edge to get closer. "How long have you been my fan?" he asked gently. Dorothy's quiet voice came through the microphone. "Since the very beginning, son. Since 1954. Elvis smiled. "That's a long time, darling. What made you love my music for so long?" It seemed like an innocent question, the kind of light banter Elvis had with fans at every show. But Dorothy's answer shattered everyone in that building. She took a shaky breath and spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. "Because your voice sounds exactly like my husband's voice did. And he's been gone for 32 years. But every time I hear you sing, I hear him again." The arena fell completely silent. Elvis's smile faded. You could feel the weight of those words pressing down on 18,000 hearts at once. "Tell me about your husband," Elvis said softly, his voice barely above a whisper. Dorothy wiped her eyes with a handkerchief. "His name was James. We met when I was 16, and he could sing just like you. He used to sing to me every night before bed." She paused, gathering strength. "James died in the Korean War in 1943. He was only 24 years old. We'd been married for 6 years, and I was pregnant with our daughter when he shipped out. He never got to meet her." Elvis was visibly shaken. He sat down right there on the stage edge, his legs dangling, completely focused on this woman's story. The concert had stopped. Nothing else mattered. Dorothy's voice grew stronger as she continued. "The night before he left for war, James sang to me. He sang the old Civil War song that your 'Love Me Tender' came from. He promised me he'd come back and sing to me every night for the rest of our lives." Her voice cracked. "But he didn't come back. And for 32 years, I haven't heard that voice, until 1956 when you recorded 'Love Me Tender.' The first time I heard it on the radio, I broke down crying because it was like James was singing to me again from heaven." People in the crowd were openly weeping now. Even the band members were wiping their eyes. Dorothy kept going. "Mr. Presley, I've been listening to your music for 20 years. Every single song feels like a gift from my James. Your voice has kept me company through the loneliest nights. It's helped me raise my daughter alone. It's given me comfort when I thought I couldn't go on." Then Linda, Dorothy's daughter, spoke up. "Mr. Presley, Mama's been sick. The doctors say she doesn't have much time left. This concert tonight, seeing you perform, this is her dying wish." Elvis's face showed genuine shock and deep emotion. "Oh, darling, I had no idea." What Elvis did next was unprecedented. He stood up, turned to his band and said, "Boys, give me a minute here." Then he walked off the stage, down the stairs, and directly into the audience. Security moved to follow, but Elvis waved them off. 18,000 people watched in stunned silence as the king of rock and roll walked straight to Dorothy Hayes and knelt down in front of her seat. "Dorothy," Elvis said, taking both of her hands in his. "You've just told me the most beautiful and heartbreaking story I've ever heard. I want you to know that every time I sing from now on, I'm going to think about your James, and I'm going to sing like I'm helping him keep his promise to you." Dorothy was crying so hard she could barely breathe. Her daughter wrapped her arms around her mother while Elvis held her hands. "Dorothy, I'm going to sing 'Love Me Tender' for you and for James right now. And I want you to close your eyes and imagine that he's the one singing it to you." Elvis stood up, still holding Dorothy's hand, and began singing completely a cappella. No music. No microphone. Just his pure voice filling that massive arena. The entire arena of 18,000 people fell silent. Many closed their eyes, witnessing something sacred. As Elvis sang, Dorothy closed her eyes and a peaceful smile crossed her face. For the first time in 32 years, she could imagine her James singing to her again, keeping the promise he'd made before he went to war. When Elvis finished, he leaned down and kissed Dorothy gently on the forehead. "Your James would be so proud of the life you lived and the daughter you raised," he whispered. "And I promise you, he's been with you this whole time." Elvis climbed back on stage, tears streaming down his face. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, his voice breaking. "I've been performing for 20 years, and I thought I understood what my music meant to people. But tonight, Mrs. Dorothy just taught me something I never fully understood before." The arena waited. Music isn't just entertainment. It's a bridge between the living and the dead. It's a way to keep promises that were never broken, just interrupted. It's a way to hold on to love that never dies. The audience erupted in emotional applause that lasted several minutes. People weren't just clapping. They were standing, crying, holding each other. And then something spontaneous and beautiful happened. Throughout the arena, people began standing up and shouting their own stories. "My brother died in Vietnam," one man called out. "Your music helps me remember him." "My mother passed last year," a woman cried. "She loved your songs." "I lost my baby daughter," another voice called. "Your music got me through it." For 15 minutes, Elvis stood on stage as people shared their losses and how his music had helped them cope. It was like a massive group therapy session, thousands of people united in grief and healing. When the arena finally quieted down, Elvis made an announcement. "From this night forward, every time I sing 'Love Me Tender,' I'm dedicating it to all of you who have lost someone you love. This isn't my song anymore. It belongs to everyone who's using music to keep love alive." After the concert, Elvis invited Dorothy and Linda backstage where he spent an hour talking with them about James. Dorothy showed Elvis an old photograph of her husband in his military uniform. Elvis studied it carefully. "He was a handsome man," Elvis said. Then he did something that Dorothy's family still treasures. He took one of his personal scarves and gave it to Dorothy. "This is for James," Elvis said. "You keep this and remember that his love for you never died. It just found new ways to reach you." Dorothy Hayes lived for another 8 months after that concert, 4 months longer than her doctors predicted. Her daughter later said that the night she met Elvis gave her mother a renewed will to live. "Mama stopped being afraid of dying after that concert," Linda said years later. She said that if love could survive through music for 32 years, then death wasn't an ending. It was just a change in how we stay connected. When Dorothy passed away in February 1976, she was buried with Elvis's scarf and a recording of "Love Me Tender" that Elvis had personally signed for her. Elvis's encounter with Dorothy changed him profoundly. Friends and band members noticed that after that night, Elvis approached his performances differently. "He stopped just going through the motions," said one of his backup singers. "Every song became personal. He started really seeing the people in the audience, understanding that his music was helping them through real pain. In 1982, 5 years after Elvis's death, Linda Hayes established the James and Dorothy Memorial Music Fund, which provides music therapy for veterans suffering from PTSD and grief counseling for war widows. My mother always said that Elvis gave James's death meaning by showing her that love doesn't end, Linda explained. Now we're using music to help others the way Elvis helped my mother. Dorothy went to that concert hoping to hear music that reminded her of her lost husband. What she received was validation that her love had survived 3 decades. Elvis thought he was just performing another concert. Instead, he learned that his gift wasn't just his voice. It was his ability to help people stay connected to those they'd lost. Today, nearly 50 years after that concert, the story of Elvis and Dorothy Hayes continues to inspire people around the world. It reminds us that music is more than entertainment. It's a lifeline for those who are grieving, a bridge between memory and healing, and a way to keep love alive long after loss. Elvis asked a simple question to an 80-year-old grandmother. Her answer revealed that he had been helping her keep love alive for 20 years without even knowing it. Because sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply ask someone about their story and truly listen to their answer. And sometimes, if we're very lucky, we discover that we've been making a difference in ways we never imagined. Love doesn't die when someone dies. It just finds new voices to sing through.